tell everything that's going on right up front. Because if you tell everything that's going on right up front, then your enemy knows exactly what you're doing.
I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Our own government working against us. I mean, we have been having the government working against us. We just didn't know. In fact, I fixed the refinery tonight. Yeah, Biden will have your job for sure.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the American Matters Radio Show. I am AprilLaJune. It's a great day. Yes, I love it when a good plan comes together. I don't know if some of you are still in the plan with us, but you should be, because this is getting good. And I just realized who somebody is in the room. I've seen him quite a bit. And, but I didn't really connect the dots until just a minute ago. Sue, enough is enough. I know exactly who you are. And yes, I think it was happy birthday to you. And sorry for your loss. You know that already. Wanted to make sure you're okay, but apparently you are okay. She was taking care of her mother, and actually she this was not unexpected for her. She did know, but it's always sad when something like that happens. But anyway, so I'm glad she's here, and I'm glad I connected the dots. Sometimes you guys on your screen, I don't connect the dots until, you say something that allows me to do that. Amy Boda, I want to thank you for your contribution yesterday. She made a donation yesterday. It was so nice of her, and so did Laura Bush. I really appreciate your donations because it really does help me. You're going to go to the range with your brother today. Awesome. My set looks great. Thank you. All the hard work paid off. Yes, it does. It does. It does. I think it's important for the show to look good. I'm just saying. I do think that. Patriot Mayfly, 1060, is that Fiona Hill? I don't know. That was all an SNL commercial, which actually is pertinent for today. Is it not? Yes. Oh, Jackie. Hey, how are you? Yeah, I know they don't send out the notifications. That's why I kind of send out. I kind of start a little earlier than what I'm actually going to broadcast, so that maybe if they decide that they're going to be broadcasting or sending out the notification, maybe you guys can get here before I start. It's hard to say. Who knows? Yes, I have a bullhorn there. That is my little bullhorn. That is the little bullhorn. I have a bigger one. That bigger one I carry in my car with extra batteries, of course, because you never know when you might need to speak about something in the middle of a crowd. Just saying. Patty Burris, yes, telling us you're going to be here up front. Yes, that's what I try to do. Gwen, she's here for the live show. The commercials are the bomb, explosive, great comedy. I know, isn't it funny? Hey, Kathy Golden, and we've got Wendy and her mom. That video was more fact than parody. I know, that's Deplorable Blood said that. Timothy Hawkins, nice to see you here. Where do you get these videos? I just find them. I just go looking, hunting to see the best things that I can put on there. Paging, let's go, Brandon. Paging, let's go, Brandon. You can meet your party at the front desk. Yeah, where the cuffs are ready. Richard Reeves, you're hilarious. Shane Schroeder, yes, definitely. God bless you all in Jesus' name, Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Amen. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, today is an interesting day because there was another arrest made. Yes, there was. Now, how long have we been waiting for the sealed indictments to be unsealed? I told you, this is not the first one. Okay. The first one was the attorney that worked for Perkins Coie, right? And now this is a new guy, which I'm going to share with you in just a minute. If you haven't seen it, it just happened today. Okay. So that's why you may not have seen it. Let me go over here for a second before I share this because I don't want it to go crazy. There we go. There we go. This is my website, AprilLaJune.com. Let me see. This could be, I get these texts sometimes during the show, and I want to make sure that it's not something that's breaking. Anyway, I am censored by YouTube, obviously. Some of you guys don't even know. Amy says, let's go, Brandon. You can meet your party at the psych hospital desk. Yes, we've got a room all prepared for you. Yes, for sure. Censored by YouTube, banned by Twitter and Facebook, and I was deeply hacked by the deep state, because they don't like the truth. That gets them going. They just can't hardly stand that stuff. 287 days since they decided that they were going to usurp the American people and do whatever they wanted. And so we're in 287 days. Did you know it took that little to destroy the entire country? Yeah, and if we complied, it would be completely gone. But we're not complying with that because we don't listen to tyrannical dictators. Just saying, Joe Xi Jinping and Clown School. Yeah, we don't. Subscribe to my newsletter by pulling down this little sidebar over here, and you can put your first name, last name, and your email in there. And when I send out a newsletter, you'll get it. Let's go, poopy pants. Yikes. You know what? That is so ridiculous. I mean, I thought my first thought on the bathroom incident, okay, I'm just going to say my first thought on the bathroom incident with Joe Biden and the Pope did not occur to me. Okay, that did not occur to me. But what did occur to me is, did he sexually assault somebody in the bathroom? That's actually what did occur to me. I don't know why it occurred to other people this way. You know how he's real handsy and he smells people's hair and he doesn't seem to have any boundaries. That's what I thought it was. And then all of a sudden I hear this other stuff and I'm thinking, really? That was your guys' first thought? My first thought was he sexually assaulted somebody in the bathroom. So I don't know why they think that. I know somebody just said the bathroom incident or the bathroom accident or something. So anyway, that wasn't my first thought. Just saying. Okay. It was not. So that being said, if you guys know where it actually came from and why they're saying that, let me know. I also want to call attention to something that Project Veritas has out there that they just said, I mean, this was like inevitable. Was it not inevitable? Did we not know? When will the Democrats learn that we have eyes on them and they're not going to get away with what they think they're going to get away with? So I'm going to play this little Project Veritas video here for you. It's very short, but it says all you need to know.
You voted in the election in January of last year?
The presidential. Yeah.
And did you register?
No, I wasn't registered either.
Are you registered now?
Oh, I never filled anything out. No.
Oh, then I can't see how you can vote because you're not registered.
Remember, I do remember him.
Okay.
Remember, we was allowing anyone to
We
come
was
in.
allowing anybody to come in and they said,
Yeah, Dorothy General they just let us.
So,
Okay.
Non-citizen.
I'll let you fill out the ballot now. Whether or not it's going to be, they're going to count it, I don't know.
But I don't know if it works because I'm an
It
Irish,
does work.
but I'm an Irish citizen. I'm not.
It doesn't matter. I mean, you have some
It
citizenship
doesn't
here?
matter.
With the work visa, yeah.
Listen, we'll let you do it.
Do you have some citizenship?
They'll figure that out.
Poll workers may not provide a ballot to someone who is not a
The
legal voter.
No, much many new ones. Just like it all.
So, I'm just going to ask you a question. If that is only 59 seconds of what Project Veritas has, what do you think they have besides that? You see what I'm saying? Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you. Nice industrial tech also. Hillary Clinton was behind the Russian hoax. Yeah, we know that. She used her classic projection tactic and projected her crimes on Trump. Absolutely agree with that. This is why I'm saying, why are the Democrats literally thinking that we're so stupid that we don't know how to catch them? I mean, we're standing right there. But I will say this. Today I had a meeting before this, doing this show. So I had this meeting. We're talking about stuff. And I'm trying to get this guy to understand something about the Democrats. Okay. Because he's saying there's got to be a way to persuade Democrats to, I guess, wake up to the truth, come to a realization, whatever. Okay. He's been in the military for like 20 something years. I think he said 25 years or something like that, dealing with government and all that kind of stuff. I have been a government reporter. I say political reporter for probably about that long, a reporter because I started out my career in entertainment and moved to politics. But anyway, as a journalist. And so I've been dealing with these people for about 30 years. And this is one thing I do know. You can catch them red-handed with their hand in the cookie jar, grabbing the cookie. And it's right there. The cookie jar is transparent. Everyone in the whole room can see that the cookie is in your hand. And you can say, I see you with the cookie in your hand, and they will not drop the cookie. They will say, no, you don't. It's not me. No matter what you do, you can give them all the reasons. You can take a video tape or a video in your phone. You can share it on social media. You can make a short TikTok video about them with that in their hand. You can throw an indictment at them that says that the cookie is in their hand and everyone can see it. And no matter what you do, that Democrat will still say, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. So there is nothing that is going to change their mind, no matter how much evidence you present, no matter how nice you are to them. The hardcore ones, like the ones that we're dealing with right now, will not accept truth ever. Now, the basic Democrat that's out there in the world who's actually trying to find the truth, you can probably talk to them. But the rest of them, no. They'll cut you off before your sentence is even done. You can start saying, I can see your hand. And then they start talking. You can say, I can see the cookie. They start talking. So no matter what you say, they will cut you off because they don't want to hear it. Monopoly on Odyssey explains a bunch to those who critically think. Well, it's definitely not Democrats, of course. I think they honestly believe that it's not them because of the demons that have taken possession of their body. I don't know. Could be. That could be a thing. I don't know. So let's end this movie now. Well, apparently we can't end it now. If we unsealed all the indictments that are out there now, that would be a long, long process. But in case you didn't know, and I'm going to show you this right now, because this happened today. Russian analyst who was sourced for Steele dossier arrested and charged with lying to the FBI. Isn't that what Sussman got? Lying to the FBI. I still think they are trying to push us to rise up with arms. I agree with that. So this just happened today. All right. That this indictment was unsealed and they went and made the arrest. Here's the indictment right here. All right. So they're talking in here about, it was unsealed November 3rd, which was yesterday, the anniversary of the stealing from the American people, November 3rd. So his name is Igor Dachenko. I think you've heard his name before, maybe, but he is the source that Christopher Steele used to spew all that load of crap to the FBI. That is what Fusion GPS used to make the Steele dossier, which is what it's known by, and tell a bunch of lies. So in this indictment here, see, I like to go to the PDF. I don't like to just listen to their stories. I like to go to the PDF because the PDF of the actual thing doesn't spin. Okay? It doesn't spin. It just continues to say the facts because the court doesn't like a bunch of spin. Okay, so here it is, on or about July 31st, 2016. 2016. That's before the actual election. The FBI opened an investigation known as Crossfire Hurricane, because remember, the election didn't take place till November, in November. I think it was November 6th that year. And Trump didn't take office until January 21st, 2017. Okay, so they opened this Crossfire Hurricane thing into whether individuals associated with Donald Trump, the Trump campaign, were coordinating activities with the Russian government, which we know was a total hoax. So the FBI began receiving a series of reports from former British government employee, which is Christopher Steele, that contained derogatory information on then candidate Donald Trump concerning Trump's purported ties to Russia. The company reports are the Steele dossier from Fusion GPS. Okay. Earlier this year, a U.S.-based international law firm, which could be Perkins Coie, okay, acting as counsel. Yes, it is Perkins Coie. Acting as counsel to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign, had retained a U.S.-based investigative firm, which is Fusion GPS, to conduct research on Trump and his associates. In or about June 26th, U.S. investigative firm, which is Fusion GPS, in turn retained UK person one, which is Christopher Steele. Now, the reason they have that this way in this indictment is because it was sealed to begin with, and now it's unsealed. So in that particular thing, when they do this, they put the, how shall I say, the placeholder, the marker in there, so that they know the, how shall I say, they know who the person is, but they're not going to name it. So they name it something else, because there's indictments against these other people that are still sealed. Okay. So when you see it in this document, the reason it's like that is because there's another document that's going to be in this stuff implementing other people. It is Ivan Dichenko, who is the one who's been arrested. Let me see if I can go back there to his picture so you guys can see it again. This is the analyst. Well, that's not the analyst. This is, I think this is the one that has the analyst. Yeah, every time you go around, there he is, right there. Igor Dichenko. Oh, is this right? No, this is Glenn Simpson right there. Igor Dichenko is right here. Oh boy, I just had it a minute ago. These sites with all of, there he is right there. That's Igor Dichenko, was a primary researcher. This guy right here, that's Igor Dichenko. This guy right here is Glenn Simpson. He is the co-founder of Fusion GPS that was involved in this whole thing. You should expect an indictment for this guy too. And his partner, Peter Fritz. Okay. So don't think for a second that these guys are off the hook. This is why I told you, John Durham is doing his job. Oh, Hillary will go eventually, but I think she's going to have to go on treason. Okay. Well, Durham has uncovered several acts of interference in the election. Now, like Rudy says, interference is in the Constitution and has been used to turn offices back. Has never been the president. Well, let me just speak to that for a second. Yesterday, I gave you a story which was from a liberal source that is lamenting the fact that it looks as if the Supreme Court is actually going to hear a case to reinstate Donald Trump as the rightful owner of the seat that we gave him, and not this clown and his insane clown posse. So you see, when you think things aren't happening, they actually are happening. But I will say this. This is a phrase I really hate. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You don't know. Because guess who uses that phrase all the time? The GOP. However, the fruits of their labor, I don't know. They've been around for a really long time, and still they don't do anything. It's people like me and you who actually do stuff. Okay? The GOP just rides our coattails. Because after we do something, then they go, oh, yeah, that was us because they're a Republican. Yeah, okay. You don't give money to the candidates. You don't help the candidates. You wait till you see who's going to be the one that's going to take the actual election, and they go, oh, by the way, we're endorsing that person. Yeah, we're throwing all of our weight behind that person. After that person has struggled to fundraise, struggled to go out there and campaign, and struggled all the way without you, you try to ride their coattails at the last second. So guess what? That doesn't work for me. That's why I give the money to the actual candidate. So will Trump lose 1 year off his term? I hope not. I think they should start exactly from where he's at. I do. And they can just chalk this up to as a huge debacle and put all those people in prison, which I think they should do. Little Hillary has an eternity to spend in hell as the devil's toilet bowl cleaner. Well, the reason I think that she's going to have to go to a military tribunal, and I'm going to show you something because some of you guys may not know this, but there is something, some of you people in here actually do know this. But I'm going to go over this because I want the people who are new in the room to see this particular document. This particular document is, I better do it this way. That'll be better. Yeah, this particular document is something that you file when you want to separate yourself from the government and you want to claim yourself as a person who's independent from the government. That means that you're claiming all things that emit from you. And I want to show you this because I believe that she and some of the Democrats have filed. This is the very first document in separating yourself from the federal government. It's called a private security agreement. Okay, now, if you go through here, you will see that there is a straw man that's mentioned right here and a live human. See, there's the real person, a real human, and there's a straw man in this document, okay? So you get on here, and there's an agreement between the straw man and the live person that the live person is now the creditor and is in charge, okay? And the live person owns all of this collateral. All of this collateral. Well, here's something that really pertains to her. If she's filed this, which I believe that she has, okay? In this document, it says that the live human retains all records, diaries, journals, photographs, negatives, transparencies, images, video footage, film footage, drawings, sound recordings, audio tapes, computer production, or storage of all kinds whatsoever of the debtor. So when they try to say that the straw man did it, because that's what they try to do, the government is a fake entity. Okay, it's not even a real thing and can only, by Supreme Court rule, can only deal with another thing that is not alive and fictitious. That's why they make you dead so that they can interact. That's why it says of the debtor, which would be the straw man. All fingerprints, footprints, palm prints, thumbprints, RNA materials, DNA materials. Don't you think it's interesting that it says RNA? DNA materials, blood and blood fractions, biopsies, surgically removed tissue, bodily parts, organs, hair, teeth, nails, semen, urine, other bodily fluids or matter, voice print, retinal image, and the description thereof, and all other corporal identification factors and said factors, physical counterparts in any form, and all records, record numbers, and information pertaining to all biometrics data, records, information, and processes not elsewhere described, the use thereof, and the use of the information contained therein and pertaining to Okay. Now, that's a lot of stuff. All rights to obtain, use, request, or refuse or authorize the administration of any food, beverage, nourishment, or water. Okay. There's other things in here that has to do with digital stuff, everything that's digital, to use any free from requirement to apply for or obtain any government license or permission in free form entry, intrusion, or surveillance. Okay, doesn't have to do any of that stuff. Also, up here, it says stuff about your digital things. Motion pictures, films, videotapes, audio tapes, soundtracks, compact discs, phonographic records, film, video, oral production equipment, cameras, projectors, and musical instruments, manuscripts, booklets, pamphlets, treaties, treatments, monographs, stories, written material, libraries, plays, screenplays, lyrics, songs, music, all of these things. Okay. So everything that she's done actually goes by this private security agreement. I don't know how you can't get this. Okay. Certified copy and notarized and submitted to the UCC, which the UCC is the thing that governs all law. Okay. All law. That is where all laws come from. So if you file this in the UCC, okay, then that means that she owns it all. That's why she's not afraid to go into the FBI and say all this stuff to them. Okay? That's what I'm saying. She doesn't care because she owns it all. Therefore, you have to have a military tribunal. I don't see how anybody can't connect the dots, because this is why these Democrats are not in jail. These people that are here in these indictments don't have this same protection that she does, because they didn't file their paperwork, which means that they now are subject to this stuff. If they weren't subject to this stuff, and they were in Hillary Clinton's position, or Bill, or all these people, then they wouldn't have to have, they wouldn't be here. They would be in the military tribunal. So I don't think it's that she's not going to be, I'm talking about Hillary Clinton and Ivan Danchenko. Ivan Danchenko is the guy who was arrested today. He is the one who provided the information, which is bogus, to Christopher Steele. See, Christopher Steele gets to say, oh, it was Ivan Danchenko that gave me the information, right? Oh, I didn't know. I just took that, as what he said. Don't use Google search, use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo is owned by Google, so that doesn't help. All search engines, just telling you, all search engines are fronts for government. I don't care what you use. They're all that, all of it. Go watch Tori Says. I think you can see her on Twitch. Go to Millennial Millie's website, which is Millie Weaver. Watch the movies that Millie's got there. She's interviewing Tori on there, and she's telling you all about data collection and all this false security that people have. Speaking of false security, I have a pinned post that I put on my thing about cryptocurrency, because some guy, and I can't remember who it is, yesterday told me that I'm stupid because there's something called a cold storage for your cryptocurrency, and therefore it doesn't matter if they take the grid down and all that kind of stuff, because you've got cold storage, so you're going to have your Bitcoin forever. Oh, really? Okay. And there was something else that they said about that, and I thought to myself, two things you don't control. Let's see. Electricity, internet access. Those two things you need for your cold storage wallet. You need them. You can't get your crypto without those two things. So let's say you have solar panels on your roof and you got electricity. You still don't have still don't have internet access. Okay, let's say that they decide to take down the grid for a couple months, couple years, whatever. And in the meantime, all of the system changes. So now there's not even a thing called cryptocurrency. And the only thing that you get is whatever the new system is. So when you come back up online, let's say, and they restore your electricity and they restore your internet access, it's super limited. There's a new system out there. Your cryptocurrency is dead. Your cold storage wallet is gone. Super easy to wipe out. You're mining zero. So you can call me stupid all day long. But I'm just telling you, when your comeback is that you've got another thing that is connected to electricity and the internet, that is not a comeback. That's just stupidity. So don't call me stupid when you're trying to rebut stuff with electricity and the internet, which is what I just told you in the first place. I mean, come on, people. I guess Glenn Beck's been telling people to get their money out of the big banks and go to the smaller ones. Just saying. All technology and everything was made in China, written on its surveillance equipment. Yeah, and we have a lot of traders in the United States of America who are working for Chinese companies by contract or otherwise, going through a string of loopholes and stuff so that they can work direct with China. Well, I should say indirect with China, so that they can develop software which goes through routing systems to get back to the person that they want to get it to, which is our enemies. So just because it says made in the USA doesn't necessarily mean it's still not going to China. Some people are just they just want to make excuses. And you know what? If you just didn't say anything at all and kept your little thoughts to yourself, you wouldn't look like a complete idiot when you come out and say this stuff. I'm just saying. Now, I personally, if I think that I could be proven wrong, I'll tell you. But so far, I don't see any way that you can control the electricity and you can control the internet. I mean, that's just like totally insane for you to even think that. So that being said, let's get back to this indictment here. So it says earlier this year, a U.S.-based international law firm, which is Perkins Coie, acting as counsel to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. And remember, Perkins Coie, former lawyer Michael Sussman, was just indicted right before this. Acting as counsel to her, the Clinton campaign had retained a U.S.-based investigative firm, which is Fusion GPS, to conduct research on Trump and his associates. In or about 2016, U.S. investigative firm Fusion GPS in turn retained, I'm just going to say, Christopher Steele, a former officer in a friendly foreign intelligence service, which is was it MI6 at the time? I think it was MI6 at the time, which is the UK CIA, and his UK-based firm, UK investigative firm 1, to investigate Trump's purported ties to Russia. During the U.S. presidential election seasons and afterwards, UK person 1, which is Steele, and employees of U.S. investigative firm 1, Fusion GPS, provided the company reports to multiple media outlets and to U.S. government personnel. And one of those is Yahoo. Oh boy, wouldn't that be awesome if Yahoo gets indicted too? The company reports played an important role. The company reports is a Steele dossier in applications that FBI personnel prepared and submitted to obtain warrants pursuant to the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is a FISA warrant targeting a United States citizen, which is Page. What's his first name? Carter Page. Targeting a United States citizen who had been an advisor to then candidate Trump in connection with the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation and the latter investigation by Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The FBI relied substantially on the Steele dossier in these FISA applications to assert probable cause that Carter Page was a witting agent of the Russian Federation. The FBI obtained a total of 4 court-approved FISA applications. Now, I just want you to know right here, the FBI already knew this stuff before anything happened, and it was the FBI who actually supplied the information to Yahoo. If you don't know that we found that out back in like 2016. This was so long ago. This is why they hacked my site and took down all the articles, because I had this stuff already link, all the stuff linked in there, in all of that stuff. A lot of these FBI agents should be in jail. I agree. I think the FBI is a bogus organization that, now they're sitting there and they're saying, okay, you lied to the FBI. Well, the FBI lies to everybody. Okay? Everybody. I mean, you don't know who's on your side and who's not, because I would think that the handful that are on your side really is outweighed by the rest of them who aren't. I don't think they have any good intentions whatsoever. I don't. So they got these 4 FISA warrants based on a total bunch of crap, which we knew that. Over time, the FBI attempted to investigate, vet, and analyze the Steele dossier, but ultimately was not able to confirm or corroborate most of their substantive allegations, could not confirm them. In the context of these efforts, the FBI learned that Christopher Steele relied primarily on a U.S.-based Russian national, Igor Dichenko. Did I say Ivan? Igor Dichenko, the defendant herein, to collect the information that ultimately formed the core of the allegations found in the company reports. From in or about January 2017 through in or about November of 2017, and as part of its efforts to determine the truth or falsify of specific information in the company reports, the FBI conducted several interviews with Dichenko regarding, among other things, the information that Dichenko had provided to Christopher Steele. As alleged in further details below, Dichenko lied to FBI agents during these interviews. First, he falsely stated that he had never communicated with Christopher Steele, who was a longtime participant in Democratic Party politics, not Christopher Steele, communicated with a particular U.S.-based individual who was a longtime participant in Democratic Party politics and was then an executive at a U.S. public relations firm, PR Executive One. Now, I don't know who that is. If you guys know, let me know, because I can't think right off the top of my head who that would be. Okay, so I'm going to scoot this over so I can kind of see if you guys tell me who that is. Because I can't really think of it off the top of my head, but I'm sure we know. About any allegations, could be CNN, who knows? Just kidding. About any allegations contained in the Steele dossier. In truth and in fact, and as Dichenko well knew, Dichenko sourced one or more specific allegations the company reports anonymously to PR Executive One. Back channel, are you lurking? When I found out J. Edgar was a cross-dresser, that was it for me. Yikes. Okay. All right. I watched LT Homestead. Can't wait to see how he's expanding his quail pins. Okay. Well, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But all right. In truth and in fact, as Dichenko well knew, Dichenko sourced one or more specific allegations the company reports anonymously to PR Executive One. You think that's Podesta? Could be. I mean, but Podesta was a campaign manager. Maybe they're just saying it as an executive at a U.S. A U.S. public relations firm. I wonder if that is not Podesta, but Media Matters. What's his name? He's got grayish hair, and his boyfriend, disgusting, was James Elefantis. You know who I'm talking about. You guys know. That is your trivia question. Answer the question. That's your question. And when you get it right, you'll hear the sound. I think his name starts with a T. I just can't remember. PR Executive One's role. No, not Tony Podesta. No, Media Matters. It's the Media Matters guy, I think. Media Matters, and his boyfriend was James Elefantis. James Elefantis is the guy who owned Comet Ping Pong, or owns Comet Ping Pong, which is one of the sex trafficking places, the child sex trafficking places. Remember? Guys, yeah, I'll just look it up myself. Okay, and I'll show you how to do it. Media Matters CEO. David Brock. You guys, yes, John got it right. Woohoo for John. You did get it right. David Brock, that's the guy. I'm pretty sure that's who. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a indictment against David Brock? I think that'd be awesome. What do you guys think? I think it'd be totally awesome. Okay, so the PR executive's role as a contributor of information to the company reports was highly relevant and material to the FBI's evaluation of these reports. I never really wondered I never really heard that David Brock was involved in this or any PR executive, because who's the one guy whose wife is Natalie? See, we know all these players. I can't think of their names because this literally just popped up like an hour ago before I was going to come on this show. And some of the updates were like 17 minutes before I was going to come up this on this show. Waiting on the arrest that will shock the world. Like who? You talking about Hillary? You talking about? I don't think it'll shock anyone. I think it will make people happy, but I'm not sure about shock. Been watching since the Roy Potter days. Q said, look at their wives. Didn't Q say 4 years ago, Hillary and John Podesta would be arrested 11/4? 11/4 could be any year. So it's hard to say. I can't really answer that question. Yeah, I think so. But I don't think that was actually Q. I think it was there was a response to someone who said that. Can't really remember. You mean Little Pitty Potter? Little Pitty Potter. That's what I call him. PR executive's role as a contributor of information to company reports was highly relevant and material to the FBI's evaluation of those reports because PR Executive 1 maintained pre-existing and ongoing relationships with numerous persons named or described in the company reports. That's the Steele dossier, including one of Dichenko's Russian subsources detailed below. PR Executive 1 maintained historical and ongoing involvement in Democratic politics. The only one I can think of is David Brock, which bore upon PR Executive's 1 reliability, motivations, and potential bias as a source of information for the company reports. Boy, that would be so interesting if it really is him. Dichenko gathered some of the information contained in the company reports at events in Moscow organized by PR Executive 1. And others that Dichenko attended at PR Executive 1's invitation. Indeed, and it can't be... that can't be Papadopoulos. It can't be because he was not involved with the Democratic Party, and which appeared in the company reports mirrored and or reflected information that PR Executive 1 himself also had received through his own interaction with Russian nationals. The only one I can think of is Brock. He is a media person. He's got his own stuff. He's linked heavily with the Democratic Party. He came out for Hillary Clinton, so many times. And he fed stories to all of these other places like CNN and all that kind of stuff. He's been feeding propaganda to all these places. They came out with that site that had to do with, fact checking sort of, and the grades for different websites and different news organizations. Of course, it was a Democrat thing. And I believe that Media Matters is the one who put it into play, this supposed, I want to say fact checking thing, although it wasn't really a fact checker deal. It was giving grades to media organizations of who you could trust. So, of course, the ones that got the best grades were the ones who were Democrat stuff. And since that's gone to the wayside because everybody looked at it and went, this isn't even credible. CNN getting an A on truth, everybody knew that was wrong. So, yeah, That's why it sure sounds like David Brock here. If you guys have a better idea, and I know it's not the Podestas because they don't have a media organization. Second, Jachenko stated falsely during the interviews that in or about late July 2016, he received an anonymous phone call from an individual who Jachenko believed to be a particular U.S. citizen and who was then president of the Russian-American Chamber of Commerce. Are you kidding me? Are you saying that you can't figure out who that is? I mean, I'd have to go look it up, but I'm saying that's pretty much a description. So why don't you just name the person? Chamber President 1. Jachenko also falsely stated that during his phone call, the person he believed to be Chamber President 1 informed him in part about information that the company reports later described as demonstrating a well-developed conspiracy of cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russian officials. You know, that is just total BS. You can trust George Soros' new media. That's a good one. The Divine Comedy is sweet in comparison with politicians these years. Arrest Fauci. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Informed about information that demonstrating conspiracy of cooperation between the Trump campaign and Russian President Jachenko and the aforementioned person agreed to meet in New York. In truth and fact, who is the guy whose wife is Natalie? What's his name? You guys know, and I'll give you another ring on that if you tell me, because I'll recognize him to say it. I think his name starts with a P. In truth and fact, and as Jachenko well knew, Jachenko never received such a phone call or such information from any person he believed to be Chamber President 1. And Jachenko never made any arrangements to meet Chamber President 1 in New York. Now, see, you can do that by travelogues. Jachenko fabricated these facts regarding President. Yes. Gatete says, the Asian dude? Yes, that guy. As alleged in further detail below, all of Jachenko's lies were material to the FBI because, among other reasons, the FBI's investigation of the Trump campaign relied in large part on the Steele dossier to obtain FISA warrants on Advisor 1, which is Carter Page. No, it wasn't Paul Manafort. No, it wasn't Buttigieg. Asked me 3 years ago, and I'd remember names. Oh, boy. Let's see. Natalie. Let's see. Let's say Russian collusion. Natalie. Oh, they're saying Natalie Portman, Natalie Holloway. No, none of those. And her husband. Remember. You guys, come on. Natalia Veselnitskaya is not it. It was Natalie. I know it's Natalie. Bruce Orr. Bing, bing, bing. And Natalie Orr. Bing, bing, bing. If this was a game show, Gatete would win. And so would John. The rest of you, no. Well, Sue got it. Yes, who else got it up there? Oh, yeah. Bruce and Natalie. Deplorable Ed. Oh, you got it. You guys got it. Albert Almazan. Ah, yeah, you guys did get it. Woo! See, you guys know the players. Nellie. I think that they did call her Nellie Orr. That's true, but her real name is Natalie. So this is the game show edition of American Matters radio show. The game show version. As alleged in further detail below, all of Jachenko's lies were that the FBI's investigation of the Trump campaign relied in large part of the Steele dossier and to obtain FISA warrants on Carter Page. The FBI ultimately devoted substantial resources attempting to investigate and corroborate the allegations contained in the company reports, including the reliability of Jachenko's subsources. Now, you guys know that they already knew that this was a hoax to begin with because they were already under Barack Obama. Yeah. So they already knew this whole thing was a hoax to begin with. They're saying this, they're using this as a I think as a ploy to pretend as if the FBI didn't know. But I think down the road, because remember, these indictments were a long time ago. Let's see when this was actually filed. I don't know if we can find that out, but maybe. Well, it says it's filed 11/3/21, but I'm pretty sure this was a lot longer ago than this. This is from Alexandria Division, the Eastern District of Virginia. Boy. PR Executive 1 maintained historical and ongoing involvement in Democratic politics, which bore upon PR Executive 1's reliability, motivations, and potential bias. As a source of information for the company reports. And Dichenko gathered some of the information contained in the company reports at events in Moscow organized by PR Executive 1 and others that Dichenko attended at PR Executive 1 invitation. Boy, that sure sounds like Brock. I'm just saying. Indeed, and as alleged below, certain allegations that Dichenko provided to Christopher Steele and which appeared in the Steele dossier mirrored and or reflected information that PR Executive 1 himself also had received through his own interaction with Russian nationals, which I'm pretty sure was coordinated. I can't remember family names, let alone these crooks' names. And that's what Amy says that. Obama is the one that started it. Actually, it wasn't Obama that started this whole ball rolling. It was literally Marco Rubio. And here's why I say that. Marco Rubio started with Fusion GPS to try to get opposition research on Donald Trump. But when he found out that there was nothing on Donald Trump, he let it go. And then the ball was picked up by John McCain. That ball that was picked up by John McCain, he went to the Clintons, to Hillary Clinton's campaign and said, look, this stuff is already done. I think you guys should run with it. And so that's how Fusion GPS got in the mix. It was Marco Rubio who started working with Fusion GPS on Trump, followed by McCain, who gave it to the Clintons. Yeah. So I'm just saying, these people who you think are your friends or good guys and stuff, they're not really good guys. Well, we already knew that about John McCain. But some of you might have forgotten. But see, I did a whole entire thing about this long ago. Well, Trump doesn't need to sue yet. He might later. John McStain. This is one of the reasons why Donald Trump said, I do not... he said something about, I don't think that somebody who got caught is a hero. Yeah. So he falsely stated during the interviews that in or about, Dichenko did, in or about late July 16, oh, he got that anonymous phone call. Never received such a phone call. Yep. The FBI ultimately devoted all the resources, the company reports. Okay, here's the defendant. At all times relevant to this indictment, Dichenko was a citizen of the Russian Federation and was lawfully in the United States. Dichenko resided in Washington, D.C. and Virginia. And then it just goes into all of this. In or about 2010, an employee of a think tank employee introduced Dichenko to UK person 1. So I don't know who this think tank is, but if I remember correctly from the things that I've read, if you read George Papadopoulos's book, he will tell you about a think tank that had some interesting characters in it. Okay, so I don't know if you want to read his book, but George Papadopoulos, here it is. Let me see what the name of the book is. Here's his book. It's called Deep State Target, which he was a deep state target. Let me see if I can get this over here for you in case for some reason you can't see it. I want to get it over here. There we go. There. Not that. I'm only one person. It's called Deep State Target. Okay. So he's talking about a think tank that he was involved in. Now, when he was involved in this think tank, if you read his book, you will see that it wasn't necessarily Republicans. It was just people through all these different relationships. So I think that they're getting some information from Papadopoulos through his book and probably directly talking to him. But some of this information should not be new to those of you who've been keeping up with all of this stuff. Okay. Let me go back over here. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So in his work for UK investigative firm One, Dachenko focused primarily on Russian and Eurasian business risk assessment and geopolitical analysis. Now, it is very possible that Papadopoulos did a little bit of work with Dachenko, but I don't think, if you read the book, have you written a book on this, April? No, I haven't written a book on this. I wrote lots of articles that were taken down by the deep state, though. But I still have all my evidence. So oh boy, that would, if I was financially set for a long period of time, I could actually sit down with the information that I have and probably put together a timeline and a book for this. My problem is I am not financially set like a lot of these other people, where I can just take off like months at a time and do this. Media Matters can't protect the establishment media anymore. I agree. That's why I think this is actually on I think this is actually David Brock. Put articles in a book, put on Amazon. Hey, that's a good idea. On the light side, my studies show moonshine kills viruses. Oh, well, that is interesting information. Okay, investigative firm One and its role in the 2016 presidential campaign. This is interesting too. UK investigative firm One, which is Fusion GPS, was at all times relevant to this indictment at UK-based business intelligence firm. Okay. Beginning in or around June 26th, UK person One, which is Christopher Steele, using information provided primarily by Dachenko, began to compile and draft the Steele dossier containing purported evidence of illicit ties between Trump and the Russian government. Now, we knew that it was all made up. Okay, we did know that. Oh, yeah, for sure. El Burke says, thanks for putting all this out there. Some of us just don't have the time to do all the research. I know. I know. That's why I ask people to, if you can financially provide $5, that helps a lot through Cash App and everything. It really helps a whole lot, especially when it's the collective doing it. Then it helps me to do all this stuff that you guys can't do, because these things are important. It's important to know what kind of things that they're doing, because it does affect your life and it does affect your vote. Look where we're at today. We've got cheaters in everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere. And they're really conspiring against us all the time. And we need to know how they're conspiring against us and who is receiving our information. This is just a really huge thing, Equal justice finally? I don't know. Maybe so. Oh, you didn't know about Rubio until now? Yeah, that was a big thing that kind of got pushed under the rug about all this stuff. About Marco Rubio and John McCain. John McCain we already knew was a traitor, but a lot of people are unaware that he's the one who took the information to Hillary Clinton's campaign about Fusion GPS, that they'd already done work on opposition research for Marco Rubio, because he's the one who hired them in the first place. So began to compile and draft the Steele dossier containing purported evidence of illicit ties between Trump and Russia. So Christopher Steele provided the first of the company reports to an FBI agent overseas at all times relevant to this indictment. See, do you not see what that just said? Christopher Steele provided the first of the Steele dossier to an FBI agent overseas on July 5th, 2016. Remember, I told you that the FBI already knew this stuff and provided the first article, which came out on Yahoo, to Yahoo in the first place. So I'm pretty sure this FBI agent person right here is probably the one who provided it to Yahoo. You think it would be a bestseller if I wrote that? I just don't understand. I mean, see, I knew Ukraine was involved way back because at the very beginning, I'm just going to tell you this at the very beginning because some of you are new and you don't know. Okay? Ukraine sat down with the Hillary Clinton campaign. There was also the FBI. Somebody from the FBI was there. And a person from Ukraine, which is a lawyer, was there. And the Clinton campaign and the DNC all together. This was from the very beginning. All together. How can we get some dirt on Trump? That's what they wanted to do. So somebody said, well, I'm pretty sure that John McCain and Marco Rubio started their opposition research with Fusion GPS. So I'm sure all they had to do was make a phone call over to their John McCain because John McCain was already a traitor anyway. And so that's how they got the stuff from John McCain. And they said, okay, well, these guys are already involved in opposition research. We might as well just use them. They've got ties to the UK and Russia. So we'll just make this whole thing up. It was Ukraine and the DNC and Hillary Clinton campaign that conspired together to make up this crap using Fusion GPS, all these people were game. But the initial thing came from the Hillary Clinton campaign in Ukraine and the DNC's conspiring together. I'm sure they just sat around a table and started talking about it. Said, how can we get this guy? And then they pulled in all the resources. Look at Perkins Coie. All of these people actually know each other. The circles are very, very tight because they all have dirt on each other. So they call in their favors. They are definitely not above lying. They never have been above lying. And so this stuff is not new to those people who've been following this for a long, long time. So yeah, at all times relevant to this indictment, PR Executive 1 was a Virginia-based public relations professional employed by a Washington, D.C.-based public relations firm. So much sounds like David Brock. In February 2016, think tank employee 1, the aforementioned individual who introduced Shchenko to UK person 1 in 2010, introduced Shchenko to PR Executive 1 in connection with potential business opportunities. I just have a feeling that might be Papadopoulos. Now, I'm just saying this, I don't know. But from reading Papadopoulos's book, he was involved in a think tank, which he was like, I don't even know what you guys do. Okay. And then he was introducing different people to different people to get business things done. That dossier reeked of Hillary shenanigans. The DNC and rhinos didn't want Trump exposing their dirt. Yeah, well, that's true. I don't know that they actually knew how much dirt Trump actually had on them. But I think they thought he was a big problem anyway because he'd been associated with Democrats and Republicans both. And I don't know if they knew that he was briefed and recruited by the military in 2012. I think it was actually before 2012, but we know of 2012, and briefed and studied this stuff prior to running. But as you know, Trump is the only person that I can even think of in all of the circles of billionaires and millionaires and all this stuff who would be able to run and not have to take money from any kind of big corporation, no matter how much money Hillary Clinton and the Democrats would even do. Do a compilation of your articles in book form? Well, that might be easier, that's for sure, than what it is right now. That's yikes. So, in addition to his work as a public relations professional, PR Executive One had served as chairman of National Democratic Political Organization, Democratic Political Organization, state chairman for former President Clinton's 92-96 presidential campaigns. Maybe this isn't, it might not be Brock. Who was that other young guy who worked for Hillary Clinton? Because I thought it might be him too. And he was like the press secretary. It wasn't Podesta. He was a younger guy. But anyway, state chairman of former President Clinton's 92-96 presidential campaigns and advisor to Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign, or beginning in or about 1997, President Clinton appointed PR Executive One to 2 4-year terms on an advisory commission at the U.S. State Department. I don't think that's Brock. With respect to the 2016 Clinton campaign, PR Executive One actively campaigned and participated in calls and events as a volunteer on behalf of Hillary Clinton. Who was that guy? I'll recognize his name as soon as you tell me. As soon as you tell me who was on Hillary Clinton's campaign as PR manager. Let's see, what was his name? Robbie Mook. Robbie Mook. You guys think that might be him? Robbie Mook? M-O-O-K? Indictments for all. No one shall be left out. Trump admitted that he was to be in the in group and they only turned on him when he left. Well, I think Trump is a businessman, okay? So as Trump is a businessman, when you're in the position that he's in and you have to deal with all kinds of people, Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, all kinds of people, especially when you're in New York, contributing $1,000 to the campaign isn't that big of a deal, okay? So they come in your office, they ask for something, you give them a contribution, and then you are able to push through whatever it is that you want to do, okay? So that being said, I don't think he really thought that much about it at the time, because he was equally giving out thousands of dollars to all the campaigns, just like, whatever, fair fight, go ahead, do whatever you want to do. I don't think he really thought about being a Democrat per se, but he's always had the same philosophy, okay? So as he's always had the same philosophy, he really hasn't changed. It's the Democratic Party that has changed. The only thing that I can say about Trump changing something on is I think he has changed his stance on abortion, but I don't think he's changed it enough, okay? I wish he would change it a little bit more to no abortion, but that's the way it is. Now, you guys can go and look at the rest of this indictment, but I wanted to go over this today with you so that you could understand that these are the kinds of things that the Democrats are trying to thwart. They're trying to make sure that we don't look under the covers, that we don't continue down the road that we were on. This little win in Virginia is good, but do not think that more things aren't coming, okay? More things are coming. This is the second unsealed indictment that I'm aware of, big, like a big thing. And of course, it has to do with the Steele dossier. So look for more from Durham. I believe that this is just the beginning, and we're going to see a lot more happening pretty quickly. The last one happened, if I remember correctly, in October. So I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.